Some toys to spur interest in science, tech, engineering, and math, STEM. Welcome back to Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. Joining us from Elenco, maker of Snap Circuits, is VP of Marketing and Innovation, Tim Conlin. Hi, Tim.
Hi, Fred.
Well, great to see you. Kids love building things. I think we all know that. And when you add a little science and engineering into the mix, they can really light up, literally. So give us an overview of the Snap Circuits brand.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're right. Things do light up with Snap Circuits, and that's because Snap Circuits is a STEM toy that kids build with their hands, and they create literally hundreds and hundreds of different gadgets. Um, we really try to create a fun and accessible way that kids can play with this type of technology. And what we do is we encourage kids really to get involved in STEM from a very early age in a very approachable way with our STEM toys. We have STEM toys that range from 5 years old all the way up to adults and older people who love learning a little bit about electronics.
That's terrific. So dive in a little bit into why this approach helps to change the way STEM is introduced to kids.
Yeah, absolutely. I think STEM can be a bit of an intimidating subject for some kids out there. And what we do is through a very, I'll say approachable manner of a very simplistic circuit, a very easy to understand manual that's color step by step. We really make this idea of STEM and circuitry accessible. We bring it to life through many different ways. Kids can build a very simple circuit that powers an FM radio that they create. They can create a very simple circuit that can power a motor and then launch a UFO high up into the air. We really make it easy for kids to have an understanding, really, of how the world works. What they're really doing is building circuits that are actually in your phone, powering your smartphone. They're powering a car, but we are showing it in a way that is just 1,000 times bigger than the little nano circuits found in those devices.
It's interesting. There are a lot of toys out there that are being labeled STEM these days, and I suppose it can be frustrating for you because not all of them are.
Yeah.
But this is the real deal. So, what age level? I mean, you mentioned five. What age level really is appropriate to start here, and what are the benefits to starting early?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you say what's the age level, I think we put age recommendations on our products, but as with a lot of parents, my kids are very bright and they can handle things at a much younger age. So I'll tell you, Fred, we've tested and done a lot of work with all of our toys to have them rated for an age range. But I've seen kids as young as 4 really be able to get into these and work with their parents. But after a couple circuits, these are very tactile, big, sturdy parts, and they literally snap into each other. So there's an audible cue that it's together and it's working properly. So I think the benefits of a young child getting involved in STEM at an early age, it really fosters that curiosity and confidence at a very early age. It makes it approachable, and it can really be that spark, so to speak, right? To really driving that interest that literally can last a lifetime. And Fred, I'll tell you, I receive letters on a weekly or monthly basis from people and at trade shows saying, I'm an electrical engineer right now, and I'll tell you, I got my start. What drove that interest when I was a kid was snap circuits. It was the very first step in this process, and that's really fun to hear.
Just terrific. So, what are some of the things that kids can create and tell us how you're encouraging them to kind of figure things out hands on? This isn't, I don't want to knock Legos. They're great for kids, but very, very often some of the kits, it's instructions, do this, do this, do this, and then you've built what you have. There are
Yeah.
instructions here too, I think, but there's also kind of free form learning, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think to understand the concepts, the instructions and the step by step are a fantastic tool, but very quickly you see that start to get put aside and kids start to create. They start to problem solve. They start to discover. They start to gain confidence. And some of the things that kids can build, and I think one of the things that is very attractive for snap circuits is that once you build these, you see a tangible result. I see a fan turn on. I see a motor turn on and it blasts off a flying saucer high up into the air. We have a green energy kit, which is very relevant in today's age. So it teaches kids all about how wind turbines work, how hydroelectricity is generated, how rechargeable batteries work. So we have these hands-on components, Fred, that kids actually build and they see it come to life themselves. Which is very, very different from a lot of things where you build it and it sits there. But one example we have is a new kit we have called Flight Deck. And it teaches kids about some of the principles around how an airplane flies. And then they build a circuit and they understand how, positive and negative can help drive electricity a certain direction and power a motor. And then they build a paper airplane themselves. And then they have a contest of how far they can launch that paper airplane with the motor that they just built. So it's these types of activities that are fun because I think in the past, Fred, and some STEM sets are still like this, and we've really learned, we've did some research, and STEM can be intimidating, right? And it's like, I'm not sure how to approach this, but one thing we've done is we've really put fun at the forefront, but we haven't sacrificed learning at all. So kids see a toy called Flight Deck, and they see how they can make paper airplanes and shoot it through a motor that they build. But that's really fun, but you're also learning how an airplane flies with high pressure, low pressure, velocity, force, thrust, and they're learning these concepts, but they're also having a really fun time, and that's our goal.
Just terrific. And of course, parents are learning along with them very often.
Absolutely.
They're going to start out with doing this with the kids, and then the kids are going to want to do it on their own. That's, I think, the experience probably many
Absolutely,
families have.
absolutely. And that's where the magic kicks in, is that independent play. They start to discover on their own, they start to problem solve on their own, and that's where the light bulbs and the interest and the curiosity really starts to go.
Tell me what your thoughts are about this approach versus all the screens that are out there, because kids are parked in front of screens, it seems, from very often the time they get home from school, and
Yeah,
using
no,
them very often in
absolutely.
school too.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, obviously screens are incredibly relevant today, and they can be an incredible tool to help facilitate learning in so many different ways. And today, kids they've known no other reality, right? Than a lot of us in our even, 30s, 40s, and 50s. There was maybe a time where screens weren't as prevalent, but what we really encourage is hands-on learning. Right. We integrate our instruction manuals. There's an online component if they would like to follow the manual online as they're learning and developing different projects. But the magic of Snap Circuits is having a toy that is based in STEM principles that you build with your hands. And we just know the value of that, especially for engineering, for designers, for innovators. That idea of building and learning with your hands is incredibly important. But we certainly don't shy or say, screens have no place in it, moving forward.
Sure. And then I'm sure there are plenty of videos online of what you can do with the snap circuits.
No, you're absolutely right. And you think about the power of social media and how we drive more people to be aware of what we think is just a fantastic brand in Snap Circuits. Social media and screens plays a primary role in that.
One of the things that you pay attention to is, I think, affordability and making this accessible to a wide range of families. Tell me about that.
Yeah, and that's been a bit of a journey for us, Fred. So I joined this business just about 2 years ago, and Snap Circuits has a fantastic portfolio, but in the past, it's been an expensive portfolio. And this idea of accessibility is incredibly important to really drive overarching penetration of the brand. And when you think about the majority of toys and a huge majority of toys is purchased under $25. We had almost one product in our whole portfolio. So what I've done is I've created price accessible, fun, introductory projects with snap circuits. So our flight deck is a perfect example. We built an FM radio. We just launched a nightlight where a child will build a very simple circuit and then have 5 different domes that they can place on the nightlight that they built themselves and then place in their room. So all of these types of things that we're doing are now much more accessible, and it can get kids and parents, to be honest with you, in a very easy way into the brand where, a toy that costs 50, 60, $70, there's, a lot of thought goes into that. But a toy that costs 15, $20, it's a little bit easier. And I can, yeah, my kid might have an interest in this. I'll give it a try and see how it works. And then we certainly have more items that they can step up in complexity, in engineering, electricity, all of that. But we really wanted to create an entry price point for folks.
Well, congratulations on doing that. Tell us about the brand going forward and the role it can play in STEM education.
Yeah, I'm so excited about the future of Snap Circuits. We've already launched so many new items for new occasions for kids to get involved in Snap Circuits. So, for example, a kid could build a nightlight and they want that in their room. That's an easy activity that they can do and learn about electricity. Flight deck. And you're going to see some things coming forward. In January, we're launching a spy kit where we kids will build their own motion detector. They'll build their own vibration sensor. They'll build a tripwire and learn how that works. They'll learn how alarms come to life. With photo sensors, where if a light turns on or off, it will activate an alarm. So they're really I talked about learning about how the world works, but also having fun. So excited about Spy Kit to launch in January because it brings those two together in a huge way. And then we're just going to really expand this in a very different way this summer, where we're bringing the number one sport in the world into a STEM game. So we're going to integrate the sport of soccer, and we're going to have kids build their own game, and they'll learn about the transistors and the resistors and how electricity powers different things in an electronic game. And then they're going to have such a great time with one person being the kicker and the other person playing the goalie. So we're really excited about the future and the different occasions we're creating to get kids involved in STEM that maybe never had an interest in STEM before. So that's kind of our plans, and we're really excited about it.
Can't wait to play that. So, where can people go for more info?
So for more info, we've got our social media channels on Instagram and Facebook and X and all of these different social media platforms. We also have our online properties at elenco.com, snapcircuits.com, and you can find our products and information on big e-commerce retailers as well as brick and mortar retailers.
Just terrific. Well, congratulations on all of the innovation and what you're doing there for kids and their futures. Tim Conlin, thanks for spending time with us.
Thanks, Fred. Have a great day.